Hi and welcome friends to another edition of Live Fantastic Prime Interviews. Today we are having an amazing personality who's multidimensional, multifaceted and a wonderful human being. So he's an entrepreneur, he's got a whole range, a palette of things running for him. He's a factory owner, he's got retail outlets like you just cannot even count. He is Mr. Shiv Kumar. Hi, Mr. Shiv Kumar.
Hi, very well.
Welcome to our show. It's a real pleasure to meet you. I know a lot about you personally. We know each other for the past 2 decades. But I want our people to know he's got a secret strategy. Wherever he goes, he can make friends just like that. And he shared those secrets to me. And I want him to share those secrets to you because that's all finally it is, friends. It's connection, human bonding, and taking things forward as you think from a win-win attitude. So I want you to tell how this all began. Because can you just go a short outline of
my business?
Yeah, from Punyamurthy departmental stores to right now, where so many magic is happening and your whole journey. Can you just start off with the beginning part, then we'll come to
Thanks very well. And the journey started about 3 decades ago. After finishing my engineering and after finishing my master's in business management, I had 1 or 2 jobs which were lucrative. But then I chose to be in business, and I started off with a very small unit at Hosur with just about 10 workmen. That I ramped it up to about 1,000 workmen and to several crores of turnover. Started Punyamurthy Pillai department store as a founder. The journey started in 88, 89, and that's about 25 years, 27 years now. And then started Time Links, which is a retail arm of watches and jewelry. Besides that, I'm into a lot of startups. One is called Planus, another one is called Skillberry, about which I'll talk during the course of this session.
Yeah, one thing I'm really, stunned by is that you are a person who never gives up on things. That's one part of you. The other part is anything you take up, whether it's a small commitment or a bigger commitment or anything at all. Once you give your word on it and once you just step into it, you see to it that you finish it and you finish it absolutely fantastically well. So we just want to know, we just want to brain hack you literally to find out what is the strategy you used to be, or did you cultivate this, or was it like inborn? Can you just share it with us?
Yeah. To answer your question, whether it was inborn, I would say it was an acquired skill.
Okay.
This acquired skill, I've got it from my maternal uncle, Mr. Prabhakaran, who was a great sportsman, a great engineer, but he didn't live for long. He taught me the skill of never giving up.
Okay.
You can learn it from sportsmen, you can learn it from industrialists, you can learn it from any person,
and
any walk of life.
What age were you at that time?
I was about 17 years and he was 25 or 26 when I lost him. But there are a lot of qualities that I imbibed from him, and one such quality is never give up.
Okay.
Now, I can give you a simple example. About 15 years back, I was new to making cabins. And I used to make about 10 cabins for a company called Ashok Leyland. And there was once the director had called me and asked me if I could ramp up to something like 300. Now, I was doing about 20 or 30 from 10, but wanted to ramp up to 300 in a span of 30 days without a lead time. I am a great observer. So I observed the enthusiasm amongst various people within the organization, picked up people, about 10 or 15 people who were highly enthusiastic at that point in time, and asked them, shall we all go for a game of doing 300, which means we need to dissect that whole manufacturing process into the smallest part and execute it in such a way that you measure your output by every second. In the mid of the month, around the 20th, we had about 78 done. So still there was 220. But the confidence in the team, enthusiasm in the team, and the will to do more was excellent. And on 30th, you'll be surprised, The director was inside the company because we had to celebrate the 300th vehicle being delivered. So from about 10 to 300, it means that you need to call the best team who may have the knowledge, may not have the knowledge, but they need terrific enthusiasm. They need the learning capability. If these two are mixed, then you can achieve whatever you want in the shortest span.
I mean, this brings us to a very interesting question, which I think will be very useful for all our viewers. That is, it's to get a team is one thing, but to create a team, build it, strengthen it, and consistently keep it going, not just keep it going to achieve targets, but to achieve targets with a smile on their face, with a togetherness in their heart, is an achievement. And I think very few people can literally have, can just boast of literally of achieving this. So how do you actually keep people together in a day-to-day when people are being downsized, people are just being sent away, people don't know whether they're going to come back tomorrow to the same place? What's your secret in this?
An individual walking into a company, I'm talking purely on the business point, it could be used at home, it could be used anywhere. But for the moment, we will stick to business. An individual walking into the business is not walking in alone. He's walking in with his mother in his mind, with his father in his mind,
Amazing.
with his wife, if it's spouse, which children, friends, relatives, peers, superiors.
Yes.
So anything that you communicate to him must address one such touch point. Whether you're addressing the parental love, whether you're touching the children's education, whether you're giving some room for the spouse to come and enjoy within the company. These are things that you need to be observing, asking questions, understanding, and then you will know that the person is totally connected with you. When the person is totally connected with you, what happens is that he would open up and share many things which he wouldn't have shared with anybody in his life. Now, if you're able to get into that level of thinking, then he is there to do, he's got the freedom to do whatever he wants to execute. He's got the free will, he's got a free mind, he's got the enthusiasm.
So this part, this kind of a skill, I would say it's inborn talent. Did you acquire this also from your uncle? Was it something like that? Or was it something you learned during this journey as an entrepreneur?
Well, Prabha had a lot of empathy. I don't know at that age, how did he acquire that empathy? He had the helping mind and a helping heart. And that perhaps rubbed on me. And then I learned it my own way that if I have to do anything within my organization, I need the best team. I need people who are enthusiastic.
Wonderful. So that's really nice to hear. Another thing that is really interesting to me when I observed you is that the kind of dedication and the love you have for your employees has got to be seen to be believed. So you always take care of them, you give them up-to-date trainings, not only technically, but you also look after their personal trainings so that they can become a better human being tomorrow, to have a better family, how to understand and grow a family, how to grow wealth, their own wealth. He looks after the education of people, their children, so many factors. So this is something that I think is going to be a golden information for all the future generations to come. For all the young entrepreneurs, for just people who are just passing out of college, what would you like to talk about? Everybody's learning about business in the colleges and universities and all that. That's fine. But what we don't really learn about is that human element, that human factor, which is actually the magical factor if you want to be successful in anything at all. So I want you to just share how to build up, for the youngsters who are watching, some small tips they can do when they're starting their business, how to pull them under their wings and protect them and grow along with them.
Extremely good question. For the youngsters first, I need to tell you that connect with the team, connect with the world. If you can have these two as your basic quality, how do you connect to the team inside? how do you connect to the world, then you would become a very, very powerful and successful person. And now, how do I connect to the team? Way back in about 20 years or 23 years back, in a place like Hosur, we had a lot of worker unrest. There were unions which were dominating, and large companies, I don't want to name them, but name any large company in the auto sector, be it in two-wheeler, be it in commercial vehicles, or be it in any other segment, had the toughest problem solving these union activities. My factory did not have any kind of a union activity, not because I was very innovative in providing solution, but because the profits in the company were so less that the union leaders felt this is not a company to be attacked as of now. But I spent about 2-3 years during that session visiting many of my producers. I don't call them workers. I visited their home in small places, could be huts, could be one bedroom, could be in the smallest of the locality in Hosur. I wanted to understand what is the mentality of a producer, why there is a workman management divide. Nobody has ever tried to crack. The workman or the producer feels that I am going to be a worker, my father is going to be a worker, my grandfather is going to be a worker. And he feels that from the management side, because of the money that the management has, the child will find it easier to achieve lot many things than what a producer who's got to struggle, work and win. Like what Amal Raj was mentioning some time back, work, struggle and win. So the producer felt that they have to work, struggle and win, whereas in management you can really work and win. So I looked at what I could do to fill that gap. And one unique thing that I like to tell you is I provided a lot of mentors who would help children get educated. So my thought was how, without much of spending, how the mentorship could be given free of cost to many parents who could make their children as engineers, doctors, sportsmen. And the program was the most successful. We ramped up from about 10 people inside the organization to about 1,000. No union, no layoff, no lockout, no strike, nothing in a span of about 20-30 years. So the key thing is not connecting to that individual alone. Try and connect to everything within the family for that individual. So that's one aspect of connecting and moving. The other one is there are many people within the organization who need coaching. There are part of it which can be achieved by training. Training can be one thing that we want to give them where everybody would benefit. But coaching is something one-on-one. Mr. Vadivel does a lot of coaching for me, for about 5-6 of my senior men. And the performance of these 5-6 people have been excellent. Why? Because there is confidentiality in coaching. What I would like to tell my coach is something that I have not told maybe my parents, maybe my own family. So the coach would try and give you a lot more solutions to the problem that you're facing. Your heart gets lighter, your mind gets better, your performance is enhanced.
Amazing. So in any business, to be successful is to think differently. Not only in business, even if you're creating or inventing something, thinking differently, thinking outside the box is the secret to all success. So I would like to ask you, in your career, which has been an amazing journey, what was the most innovative and creative thing that you think, according to you, you have accomplished?
There are many creative things and innovative things that we've accomplished. It can be very small, it can be a big achievement also. But let me start off with something very small in retailing. I don't know if many of you know about Nippo cooker, the electric cookers, which were launched in 1990s. And 1980s, it was very popular in city. People wanted to buy the cooker because they didn't get the gas connection or they didn't have alternatives. So this was an electric cooker which can cook rice, it can make many dishes. And I wanted to sell it in my supermarket in Thanjavur. So I went and asked this cooker company, would you like to launch the cooker in a small town? And they said, it is better that we focus on tier 1 cities, and Tanjore is not a tier 1 city. And then we would like to go to Trichy, Madurai and Coimbatore and not to a smaller town like Thanjavur. But as I told you earlier, I never give up. I didn't stop with that answer. I visited them every day for about 15 days. 15 days asking the same question, sir, can I launch this cooker in a small place called Tanjore? Every day I used to visit the company and ask them if I could sell these cookers in a small place like Tanjore. The answer for that was, Tanjore is a small town and we wouldn't like to launch it there. I never gave up. I said every day is a new day and I'll try a little bit more. After a month, I stopped asking them, but they called me back about 2-3 months later saying, can we now launch this cooker in Tanjore? And the condition that they laid was, can you take 1,000 cookers in one which is a 1 lorry load, and can you sell that 1 lorry load of cookers in a small town like Tanjore, and can you give the upfront money? The upfront money was something like 14-15 lakhs. 14-15 lakhs in 1990s for a single product is a big money. Is multiplied by 20 times, 30 times, that's a current value of money. Now I would never give up. I picked up the 1,000 cookers and had a launch with 300 ladies, with Chandribat coming and explaining the number of dishes that the electric cooker could make and how much of time, money that the parent could save. We sold 295 in a span of 2.5 hours. Then I didn't know what I would do with the remaining 700 cookers. Even if I sell street to street, I might end up selling about 20 cookers a month or 30 cookers a month. I needed a very, very innovative technique to sell the whole lot. 25 kilometers away is BHEL. BHEL as a cooperative bank. The cooperative bank can only lend to its employees. They've lent for 2-wheelers, they've lent for 4-wheelers, but they've never lent for a durable. I convinced them that a durable lending is safe, and because the salary is deducted at source, money is safe. Therefore, I was the first guy, after convincing them, I was the first guy where the EMI of 95 rupees to buy a cooker was provided by the cooperative society. I sold 6,000 and odd cookers because the EMI was just about 95. Every employee of BHEL bought it. Cooperative society was happy. I got my funds cleared, and the population of cookers in Trichy perhaps went multiple fold. And then the cooker people took me to Japan to talk about this innovative method of selling. I was taught Japanese. I flew to Japan, addressed the entire lot of employees of how we launched this cooker in a small town called Trichy. So that's one innovative thing. The second innovative thing that I can talk about is in watches. I went around asking people if what are the 2 changes that you want us to do in our company. And they said the first one was, can you look at something for my old watch, because your new range of watches are always very attractive. The old watches don't have a sale price and I don't have the mind to throw it in the bin. I wrote to the company saying I want a new scheme for taking back the old watches. The reply was very clear that we can't take up any old watch because of the simple reason there are hygiene factors on the strap. The user would love to buy a new watch because of the hygiene factor, and therefore that particular scheme cannot be promoted. I repeatedly kept asking the company, can I now find out a way to sell old watches? But take old watches. Then they said you can do it under one condition: no television advertisement, no radio advertisement, no paper advertisement, no banner, no this, no this, no that. So any advertisement was banned, and I had to somehow communicate to my people. I brought Banyan people. Vandana had come to the showroom, and I told Vandana to tell the press that any old watch that is collected will be corrected, in the sense strap might be changed, or if it's not in a working condition, we'll make it in a working condition. That will be sold, and that proceeds will go back to the Banyan. The next day we had a queue. There was huge number of people saying, we would like to give our old watch to the Banyan and take the new watch. They felt that it was a new concept that I brought about. It was well published in the press. It was spoken about everywhere. My sales went up nearly 10 to 15 times. So one thought which is different from the core can bring up terrific benefits.
So, see, taking this to the next part of this, how successful entrepreneurs take life straight head on is the ability to take failures. The ability to, every time you fall down, to get up a little more stronger, a little more focused, a little more determined. So I want to ask you, what is it that you do in your downtime? Suppose you're having a crunch in certain ways, the economy is not good, and there are some challenges as far as the business is concerned. What do you do during those times to keep yourself going, to keep yourself more determined, and keep delivering in this top-notch level?
Yeah, good times and bad times are actually good for entrepreneurs. Good times, you have, for little effort, you get a lot of reward. And what do you mean by bad times? That you need to struggle a little bit more, and the reward may come a little delayed. Now in business, it's not instant gratification. Sometimes it is delayed gratification. So we feel that during bad times, so-called bad times, or the so-called bad economy, you need to look at it as delayed gratification. That's a time you need to use your skill and talk about transformational leadership within your organization. How are they empowered? How are they delegated? What are the new skills that you could acquire? How do you keep them and the family active? How do you bring in joy within the organization even during those times? These are things that actually make your organization struggle better. And these are times when many of your competitors struggle and they don't know what you're doing. And that's the best time to leap forward and move forward and become a winner.
Wonderful. The thing is, everybody does something mentally, physically, emotionally, and even spiritually to keep themselves in peak condition. Now we call it the daily rituals. Like everybody has a specific ritual that keeps them literally cruising. Whatever the times are, like good, bad, they carry the weather with them. They don't let the outer weather control them. So what are your daily rituals? I'm really curious to know, because everybody will be loving to know what you do every morning to keep yourself.
I'll talk about my ritual and the ritual within the company.
Sure.
Mind has a terrific capability. It remembers all bad things that have happened in our life. It does not remember all good things that have come up in your life. If your school teacher at the age of 8 had told you that you cannot learn mathematics and that you're a stupid idiot, you would remember till your death. But a million times the same history geography teacher would have come and said you're brilliant. You would forget it. If you're a cameraman, you would feel that one wrong instant is something that's ruined my career. That's not all. Good times have to be remembered. Bad times have to be forgotten. So what do? Learn from sports. We have something called an anchor. Anchor is inside the industry. Whenever something good happens, we've coined our own song called Jumbare, 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 and all of us sing that song. It means the brain remembers that there is something very good that's happened within the company, and the joy actually spreads within, and there's remarkable feeling, remarkable great feeling and joy within the organization. So please have an anchor. It could be a personal anchor, it could be a team anchor, it could be something, but keep repeating it. Brett Lee would use this as his anchor. Anytime he takes a wicket, he says, because he's injecting into his mind that he's bowled a very good ball. And the ball has to be repeated many more times during this test match or the T20 or the T50. So if you have a footballer who would remove his shirt and spin his shirt, that's his anchor. So you have a personal anchor, that is do something on your fist, hands, legs, give a movement to your body in such a way that the brain triggers a positive thing that's happened.
In fact, when you say this, I'm just again curious, like, do you, before leaving for office, do you have an anchor, like you just say yes or phrase or something like that?
Yeah, see, what I do is, I don't do it with my hand or my face,
Okay.
but every time I walk into the office, I do a double step, which means my right foot would go a little forward and the left foot would double up. So that's my anchor.
Longer steps.
Longer steps.
Okay, longer strides. Literally.
Longer strides on the left. So anytime I enter the office and
walking like a panther, literally.
Yeah. So anytime I don't want too many people to be watching me, I would keep my right hand in the front, my left hand holding my pant at the back, and moving forward 2 steps at a time.
Awesome.
So that's something that's my anchor, which I have not ever told to anyone. So the anchor is one thing. The second part of it in your question
Yeah.
is that you've asked what do you do during down times? Do you have something else that you do? And how do you pace your day? Now, I've divided my stress into two levels. One, a stress arising out of trying to achieve something which looks impossible. To me, it is not a stress at all. It doesn't dislodge me. In fact, I get the extra energy to perform. But what are the stress that really catches up is I would love, I would not like any issue arising to the customer. On customer quality, if I have messed up somewhere, it spoils up my mind. On something that can hurt the future of the organization, it can hurt my mind. But if you give me a tough task, one fellow would love to eat it. It's nice food for me. But messing up something which is something that I shouldn't have done or my team shouldn't have done, that stresses me quite a lot. And what do I do for it? I find an antidote. The antidote is I do the corrective action plan and the preventive action plan. That's called the CAPA. CAPA is that I corrected the situation. I'll make sure it'll never happen again anytime in my organization. That's a preventive action plan, and that's documented very well.
Wonderful. So, coming to this, we always ask this rocking chair test. Rocking chair test is like, let's assume that you are 90 years or 100, 110 years, and you are just sitting on your rocking chair. What are the three things that when you think about, how do you want the world to remember you? In just three ways. That is, Shiv Kumar has lived in this world and he is this. How do you want the world to remember you?
That's a dynamic question. I'm answering when I'm 58, 59 or 60.
No, I think
but at 90 or 95.
But I think just one part I want to tell you is like, that will always remain the same because that started when Prabha itself was there. And you know
Agreed.
that, yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
First thing I love people to remember is how many people's heart I've touched. Have I made a change in their life? Be it in the working career, be it in the sporting career, be it with somebody who's not met me earlier, but have met me for the first time. Have I touched, changed something in that particular individual? That is something that I would love to be associated with. That is, I've touched people. It could be an entrepreneur, it could be somebody in the street, it could be my own employee. Have I transformed them? So the transformation is one thing that I'd like to be remembered. I can share with you one. There was a girl in a school that I studied where I'm a trustee, MCTM High Secondary School. That school is a very poor school. There was a girl who came and met me at 6 o'clock in the morning with her parents. And she said, I'm the school first. My father is a fruit merchant in Coimbatore. And I've scored well, but I don't have the money to actually do something in graduation. None of my relatives are graduates. Nobody can guide me. And what do? Can I get into a medical store and start earning? I'm getting good jobs. I told her, look, you're going to become a doctor. And both parents started staring at me. Girl started looking at me. And my wife said, I think she looks a very promising girl. And I think she can become a doctor. We ensured that she had very, very good marks. She could get her admission in Stanley. And then we had to mentor her. We had to guide her. We had to financially help her. She's become a doctor. She's now doing her post-graduation and completing her post-graduation in gynecology. This is something that I thought I should share. Many of us can touch many lives. Many of us can move the world. I'm a part of the Banyan. And I've learned a lot from Vandana and Vaishnavi. So being part of NGOs, being part of a society where India needs help from everybody, we can be a part. In an organization typically of my size, there are people earning more than 1 lakh, and it goes up to 5-6 lakhs a month. Now I picked up somebody from the HR and asked her, is there enough saving in your life? She's in her mid-40s. Asked her if there is enough saving in her life. She said, yes sir, I do save. Asked her, what do you do with this? She says, every time I save, I like to buy a small flat or a bigger apartment. My lifetime earnings would end up paying some EMI to the bank. I said, why don't you become a crorepati? She said, what's a crorepati? How do I become a crorepati? I said, look, I'll teach you simple techniques and you just have to follow this technique and be very disciplined. I asked her to take about 40,000 rupees a month, put it on SIP, top it up with every bonus or increment that she gets, and I said, you'll be a crorepati in about 10 years or 8 years time. I think she was very disciplined. In 7 or 8 years, she came back to me and said, my account balance in my bank is more than 1 crore. And now she has about 1.5 crores. By the time she retires, I feel she'll have at least 10 crores of cash. And that's because of the discipline in which that you save regularly and deploy it in correct mutual funds, and then you end up retiring with very, very heavy sum. So this is something that I've taught my managers, I've taught my assistant managers. Many of them have 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs. So it is not what we pay them, it is what we make with the money that we earn. And so there are classes for wealth management within the organization.
In fact, it's wonderful, Mr. Shivakumar. Great of you to be here. And it's been inspiring to hear whatever you said. And I think it's going to be truly inspiring for all the audience there to absorb all the information you said and put it to use in their life. So I hope you all got something that's really useful that can transform your lives. I want you all to share this information to all your friends through WhatsApp, through your social media, so that it can inspire youngsters to reach their goals, their dreams, and live a life that's truly fulfilling. So take care. Wish you all the very best, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Vadivel. The last 20 years journey with you has been excellent. I've learned too many things from you. My organization has gained enormously through you. You've coached several people within the organization, and they're very thankful to whatever you've done. You've trained sportsmen, you've trained young students. Anytime I seek help, you're always open to help me out. Thanks so much, and thanks for the people watching this.